What is happening, fellow fantasy GMs? I am JJ Wang. He is the bearded one, DJ Dub. And with our powers combined, we are the Fantasy Couriers.
What is up, JJ Wang? How are you doing on this fine weekend?
Doing good, fantastic. How's your week been?
It was a good week. Got through another one, had a pretty productive week, and then jumped into a game that I thought was going to be a stinker, and it turned out to be a surprise. I think it was still kind of a stinker because nobody started what was good.
Yeah, I mean the only thing that made it, I don't want to say not a stinker. I don't know if that makes any sense, but the only thing that made it a relevant game was Ernest Johnson. I mean that was the biggest question mark going in. Everybody was like, is this guy really that good? Just because he had that one start, was it last year? 13 carries for I think they said 93 yards. And so this is two games in a row that he has started and has looked pretty darn impressive. So kudos to that guy.
So, speaking of not being a stinkers, the Fantasy Couriers certainly aren't stinkers, but we're looking for some people to send us some questions because our email is starting to stink. It's getting empty. So, hit us up on email, thefantasycouriers@gmail.com. You can hit us up on Twitter, Facebook. Check out our Instagram post. I'm going to try to put something up this Sunday. I'll be watching the games from a car. My family's doing trunk or treat, so I'll be dressed up as Santa Claus, giving out candy to the kiddies at on Sunday for trunk or treat while the games are on my phone in the background. You can leave us a YouTube comment or check out our website, thefantasycouriers.wixsite.com/website. All those links are in the bottom of your podcast feed or YouTube feed. Hit us up, ask some questions. We're looking for some things to talk about. Also, we're still dangling at 45.
Still at 45. We might
Yeah,
have to take
to
some
50.
some desperate measures here to get up to 50. We'll have to figure something out.
Yeah, no, and I'll put out our DraftKings contest last week. I jacked it all up. I'm gonna learn how to do this. I think it's now set up to automatically start the contest for anybody in the league. I'll send out a link if anyone wants to join our DraftKings league. Always $1, and the two of us stink at it. So take our money.
I'm really bad.
But
I'm
yeah,
like,
Thursday night wasn't a stinker, but it still kind of stunk. We talked about Ernest Johnson there lighting up the show, but who started him?
I started him in one league. That was it. And that was the our dynasty league in where I just drafted all rookies and I got nobody else. So I mean, like I said, I started him in one league.
He's
But I mean, at this point, honestly, a lot of people probably started because it probably didn't have many options. I mean, he is a starting running back in the NFL for one game. I mean,
Well, I
so
think the theme of this week's show really is desperate times call for desperate measures. But my thought is, I see him on the waivers in a couple of our leagues. And I think it's because people were like, oh, it's the Browns, blah, blah, blah. We're going to wait and pick up somebody for Sunday. So he might still be sitting there and everybody's just like kicking themselves, going, oh, I
yeah,
need
because
this amazing.
that was the only chance you're gonna have because Nick Chubb will be back next week. I mean, he might get that Cream Hunt role, but I mean, Cream Hunt was obviously a pretty valuable asset. But we just don't know what Dearness Johnson can be in that role.
I got you three questions from Thursday night before we jump into the desperate times, desperate measures kind of week here. Are the Browns decent or are the Broncos bad or a little bit of both?
So I think So we've had this discussion since pretty much the beginning of the season. Thanks to our show that we did with the our
Bold
brave
creepers.
bold predictions. They started out 3-0, but yeah, I think the Broncos are pretty bad. And honestly, I don't see how much longer they can continue going with Teddy Bridgewater either. At some point, I mean, he's not playing very well either. I know Lock probably isn't the answer, but you don't have him for much longer. You might as well give him a shot to see what you got. As far as the Browns go, I think the Browns are a 500 team, like but 9-8. I think maybe 9-8. They might. That's where I see them finishing. So decent. I mean, if decent is 500, I guess, but I don't see them being much better, really much better than that. They just, like I said, I don't think they have the offensive firepower to be really any better.
Yeah, I'm intrigued, but I think Denver stinks. I'm with you on that. Really thought that defense was going to be a ton better this year. I'm getting ready to drop them in all my leagues. Von Miller's a stud, so I thought with that, and then I thought Surtain would help, and the cornerback and just all the pieces that were there. They should be a decent defense, but they just got run over yesterday. I don't think the Browns are horrible. I would put them a little higher. I could see them getting 10 or 11 wins in there. I mean, the Steelers are good, but not great. They can sneak another one by them. Baltimore is probably the cream of the division, easily in there. Cincinnati will give them a fight, so they can probably split there and then out of conference. I think they're better than a lot of other teams, and good defense and a good running games will win you a lot of those November, December games when it starts to cool down, especially up in Cleveland. I think they're gonna be sneaky, kind of like what happened last year. I mean, they made it into the playoffs. Case Keenum is. I started him last night. Actually, I had a desperate times quarterback problem going on, and I had to start Case Keenum, and I got myself, a good 15 points, which was what I expected because the other option was putting a tight end in super flex. So I was quite content with that. But he's a serviceable quarterback. I think a comment made last night, maybe by Troy, I might have been Joe, I think it was Troy Aikman said that he's a team that you're gonna win in spite of, but not lose in spite of, or something to that effect. So basically,
Yeah.
he's not gonna lose you the game, but he's not necessarily gonna Peyton Manning the game.
Oh yeah, he's definitely not
So
going to Peyton Manning a game at all.
yeah, I mean but that means he's serviceable.
Yeah.
You got Jarvis Landry back. You got a couple of decent tight ends and an amazing running game. And if Ernest Johnson plays like that, he's got the Kareem Hunt role locked up for the next month. They're going to be fine. Leading to my next question, and I think it's a pretty simple one: how good is that Browns offensive line?
I mean, evidently it's pretty good. I don't know how to judge offensive lines. You can only judge about how many yards their running back gets, or how few attack or sacks they allow. But it seems like everybody they put back there produces.
Yeah,
It's either they got a really good scheme and it really doesn't matter who's on the line, kind of like the Mike Shanahan
that's what I was
days.
thinking. I was going to say that. Yeah, the
I
zone
mean,
blocking.
like it doesn't really matter who the running back is. Just that zone scheme just allows the running back to pick a spot.
I mean,
Um,
Felton looked good. Johnson looked good. Chubb looked good. When DJ Dove ran behind the line, he looked good. It was quite a year for them.
yeah, I mean, it's like they can run the ball well. I mean, there's nobody's denying that. But at this and NFL in 2021, you got to be able to pass, and they
Maybe.
just. So speaking of pass, I don't want to get off the Browns line, but is it time to give up on Odell Beckham? Right?
Phew. Um, I don't know. I know that he's not 100%, and I think he never is.
Yeah.
So I was never on. I have zero shares of Odell Beckham. I don't want any shares of Odell Beckham. I got him last year and I traded him, I think, within like 2 or 3 weeks. I think I got him from you
Yeah.
in one of our leagues.
Trade
I
him for
traded
Cooper.
him within like what, 3 weeks? I didn't have him
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
And
Because I
so
think that was the Cooper Cup trade. I think.
oh, anyway, but yeah, I don't have any shares. I've given up on him a while back. He's got to show something to me. He would have to be healthy. Then I might consider him wide receiver 3. But I think Premier Odell, that single-handed catch,
Oh yeah.
amazing giant guy, is dead. I don't know if it's a Browns thing or if it's just Odell, as what I'd be interested in, because it might be the system. Like they need like the Jarvis Landry types versus the Odell Beckhams. Who knows?
Yeah. Like I don't know. Like, I know he fell off. I know he fell off quick. So we already had my take on this. We'll get your take on it. Are you worried about Teddy Bridgewater?
I am, but I don't know if I would waste the time on Drew Lock. That's the thing about it. Like it's a oh man, you're gonna go from Teddy Bridgewater to Drew Lock, and that's gonna change the world. But I guess if they want to make 100% sure that they're done with Drew Lock, that's what they're gonna have to do. But I love Teddy. I got a heart for Teddy, but he looked rough. That when I saw him throw that pass, that interception in the end zone, that was just we could have intercepted that ball. It was just up there. Just you knew what was coming. You knew where he was throwing it. His head doesn't seem to be on right now. I don't know if it's because he got hit so much last week, or I mean, he was playing through injury, so I probably wouldn't give up yet. I would say, hey Teddy, we're gonna play you. And then knowing that he's got these 10 days next week would be when I would really start to think about it more. So I want to see what he does next week when he's healthy and because this week he was the walking wounded. He's probably in an ice bath still from last night and the last 2 weeks after it went on. So, well, enough of Thursday night. Let us go and take a look here at this week's Bipocalypse. And if you are wondering, next week we do have a premier Thursday night game. As we say, it's probably going to be a stinker now. It is the Packers versus the Cardinals, just looking ahead to next Thursday night. I'm
Oh
kind of
wow,
excited for that.
that's
That's pretty
fantastic.
amazing.
That's going to be a good one. Yeah.
Okay, so this week is the death by buys and death by injury. So the Bills are not playing, the Cowboys are not playing, the Jaguars are not playing, the Vikings are not playing, the Steelers are not playing, the Chargers are not playing. We could spend the next half an hour talking about all the guys that are not playing. We're looking at 4 top 15 quarterbacks, probably 6 top 20 quarterbacks, a handful of running backs, a ton of receivers, a handful of tight ends there that you might be playing. And not even to throw in there, Saquon Barkley's been announced as out. Kadarius Toney is out for the week. Antonio Brown is out for the week. Gronk is out. Lat Murray to a lower extent and Watkins to a lower extent have been announced as out for the week. There are a lot of injuries. There's more that we haven't even named yet. I went down a team prior to the show and told you I literally have in a dynasty league, I think 2 guys I can put into a roster spot that aren't in my starting lineup. It's so bad this week. Wow. What are we to do this week? What is the theme of the week?
I mean, just get by. I mean, just do. That's really all you can. I mean, they say I'm in the league where I got Josh Allen and Dak Prescott out to go along with CeeDee Lamb and Austin Eckler. I mean, all 4 of those people are on. That's core of my starting team right there, and they're all out. I mean, I had to start Demetric. I had to put Demetric Felton in there last week. I mean, that's what it comes to. These kind of things in fantasy, I guess, are fun. I don't want to do this, have to deal with this every week, but it's only like this once, maybe twice a year that it really gets this bad.
Oh, this is the big one. Otherwise, it's going to be a couple.
Other ones are fine, but you get through this and everything is going to be all right. You just get by, man.
I guess if you're a good manager, you can that this is coming. You might have planned. I didn't plan at all because I didn't expect this week when I lost Chubb, I lost Barkley, I lost AB, and I lost Gronk. Luckily, a few weeks ago I traded for Pitts, but I'm just looking like just dire straits. But I'm going to jump down to a question to go with this. With all of these guys out, who are you? We're looking at running back is a mess.
Yep.
Who are some backups that you would consider playing this week based upon the loss of Dalvin Cook, Najee Harris, Austin Eckler, James Robinson, Zeke, and to a lesser extent, probably not Zach Moss, but those guys, or Tony Pollard even, as you're looking through those starters, who would you plug and play out of need plus all these injuries? I mean, what's left?
I've been debating. I got what's the Redskin running or the Washington football Antonio Gibson. So I got Antonio Gibson on the team. I've been worried all week whether or not he's going to play. So I've been seriously considering, trying to find McKissick. Like who you wrote down here. I think he's probably I know. I was thinking about it. He's probably your best bet, because he's going to get that receiving work. Gibson's not 100%, so he's going to get some of that running back work. He's probably your best option that you can find him. But after that, you're just throwing darts on everybody. You have no idea. You're just looking for somebody that's going to get a carry here or there.
That's it. That's the gist. McKissick is a guy that's going to play. I was reading prior to the show that Gibson is going to give it a go this week. He is listed, and he's I think upgraded, not downgraded, so not totally upgraded, but he's going to be. They say he's going to play. What about a couple of names throwing out? I'm talking Dire Straits dart throwers. Would you throw a dart at Marlon Mack? Do you think they're going to try to show him out a little more this week with the trade deadline?
So they're in the middle of trying to rebound from their terrible start. So I have a hard time believing they're going to take the ball out of their best player's hands
Carson Wentz?
Yeah. Jonathan Taylor. I have a hard time thinking they're going to take the ball out of Jonathan Taylor's Jonathan Taylor's hands just to highlight Marlon Mack, give Mack what 5 carries, 6 carries. I mean, he's only getting like 2 or 3 carries the last couple games. I mean, at this point, people that are going to trade for Mack, they know what they're going to get in Mack. I don't think you really need to highlight him at all. And then plus, if you do put him in there, you're trying to trade him, and he gets 5, 6, and he ends up getting hurt. I mean, then you lose anything for your trade, and you're just stuck with an injured
True.
player. But like I said, I don't have any interest in Mac. That's what 3 or 4 carries. But you got done here, wrote on into San Francisco running backs. So when you say San Francisco running backs, are you counting all the running backs, even the starter in San Francisco, or are you
Yeah,
just
Mitchell's coming back, so you might want to check your waivers. Is he available? He might have snuck on there in one of your leagues. Like I mentioned last show that I should have gotten Jerry Judy this week, but the problem is to get Jerry Judy, I might have to draft Michael Pittman. Do I do that? But there's guys sticking there, so you might want to check and see. Did somebody drop Mitchell because they had to because it's a redraft league and you're on lower? Maybe what about Hasty? I saw
uh,
someone in one of my leagues pick up Hasty. That's
oh,
how bad it is.
they might pick them up, but there's no way I can see anybody starting them. If you're going to start anybody other than Mitchell, it would have to be Trey Sermon, right?
Really? Hasty's gotten better role than Sermon this year, though.
I mean,
He just
I
got
mean,
hurt.
I wouldn't start either one of them, honestly. But
I'm
but
talking
just
bad things here. I mean, I'm
yeah,
without Barkley and Chubb. I'm starting McKissick and Alex Collins this week.
I mean, and Alex Collins might not even play.
That's why I have a sharp pick.
So we'll
What
get
about
to
my
that.
boy?
We'll get to that in a second.
My last one here makes me happy. Ramondre. Are you throwing Ramondre? Let me note is playing the New York Jets.
Well, he might be playing, but so what are we talking here? 6 carries or 6 touches, 7 touches.
And a
The
touchdown?
only way the only way he's relevant is if he does bunker in and get that touchdown like he did last week. But if you put Ramondre in there, you can't go. I don't think you can hope for a big game, right? You're just, hey, I need a spot. I need a spot. I need a spot filled, and Stevenson is going to get a couple carries and maybe catch a couple balls with a chance of a touchdown. I mean, if that's what you got to go for, I mean, yeah, start him by all means. Start him, absolutely. If that's all you got. I mean, some people that's probably all they. I mean, honestly, I would probably have to start him on a couple teams
Yeah, it's bad. It's
if I
bad, man. I
had
tell
him.
you, Devonta Freeman might be started. Devonta, that's another name I've seen pop off of waivers. I dropped him to waivers because I had to in one league, but that's a name too.
Yeah, I picked him up. I picked him up in the league today. I am seriously considering having to start him. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't. It's dreadful. That's what it's come to.
He
I
got
would
nine
much rather be
carries.
starting. I would much rather be starting Tyson Williams in that role, but obviously they don't like him.
Mm-mm.
They've made that pretty obvious. So yeah, we're stuck with some
Stinkers.
scrubs, man.
So I mentioned it earlier, and the Seattle backfield. So we know Carson is out and for I don't know how long with that neck we talked about. Collins is questionable, and everything. It sounds very questionable. They just on Friday they took Rashad Penny off of the. They designated him to return to practice, and I don't necessarily know if that means he's going to play. We were talking about that prior. I'm assuming since it's Monday, they got him off to practice so he could practice this weekend. I mean, he's been doing things, I'm sure, but if Collins doesn't play, I have Collins. I basically got to keep Collins and Penny ready and put in whoever's alive, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going with the Seattle backfield, I mean, that's what you because they play Monday night, right?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
problem.
so you don't. So you just gotta hope that you have. You should probably find a way to pick up DJ Dallas, right?
He's there too. I
Yeah,
didn't know where to put him.
yeah. So that way, at least you got all three of them. One of them's going to start.
Yeah,
Penny and Dallas are probably going to play, but we all know Penny's probably going to get hurt again. Correct?
yeah.
Probably only a matter of time. DJ Dallas, I mean, he's a player,
Scat back.
but if that's the position you're in, I mean, I feel bad for you, man. I
Yeah,
mean, I
it's bad. It's
really
bad.
do.
I told you it's bad. And the next two sort of go together. It's just a quick little hit. The big news really of the league came out, and it's right now much ado about nothing. Is Deshaun Watson resurfaced? I'm wearing my Tua jersey for the show just in case I don't get to wear my Tua Dolphins jersey anymore. In my heart of hearts, I hope it's for many years, especially after he threw for 327, which we're disagreeing on arguing about before the show, before we recorded today. But the Watson distractions, not just hitting Miami, the Watson distraction was coming to Miami, then it's venturing into Denver. Washington was talked about as taking Tua. Denver was talked about with Watson. Carolina was even mentioned. They all had to spend time debunking, going over it, having it go through their systems. Is it something down the pipeline, or do you think it's much ado about nothing? Do you think someone in Houston's trying to whisper something to truth? What if
I
you
think
had to
maybe.
predict in 30 seconds,
I think
what will Deshaun Watson be doing before November 2nd?
before November. I don't think. I mean, honestly, I don't think he's going anywhere. I think it's just a bunch of people just trying to look for news, news bits. But the only way he gets traded is if the team that he's getting traded to knows what's going to happen.
Yeah,
I think that's the. But the thing with Miami, like mentioning Miami, like Miami's 1-5. They're obviously not going anywhere this year. So if they do decide to make the trade for Watson, it's not like they're losing anything,
true.
But yeah, I don't think Watson. I don't think anything happens this year.
Yeah, it ruined my day, but it's like I like the player Watson, but I'm just worried about. I don't know. Like I thought he was going to settle and they just suspend him for a while and move on, but who knows? Who knows how things are going to pan out. But leading out of the Miami, as I'm wearing my Tua jersey, the one my game of the week that I'll have recorded this week, and nobody else but me and people living in Miami and Atlanta, in the Miami versus Atlanta game, the defenses stink and they're awful. Do you just start anybody and everybody you can, especially this week? Would you start you even before the show? You're like, not the running backs, but now that we had this conversation, would you even have to start Miles Gaskin in Dire Straits?
I mean, if you're in Dire Straits and that's all you got, yeah,
Middle Straits then.
no, I'm not. I mean, if I mean you've gotta fill out your roster, and if Gaskin's the only guy left on your roster, I'm not excited. Honestly, the only guys that I don't know if I'm really excited to start anybody on the Miami offense.
Jalen
You know,
Waddle. I'd start
Waddle is
Waddle.
good, but we have one good. You're wanting to
Targets,
make
man.
Waddle an everyday starter after one good game. He ate two games out of 7, and you already want to make him an automatic starter. But I like Waddle. I mean, I've been starting Waddle all year, just because my team is garbage. I got nobody
Have
else.
to.
But I mean, I like Waddle. The tight end, what's his name?
Gesicki.
Gasicki. I mean, he's probably a solid start. I, he's probably the only solid, person that I would be confident in. Being a tight end, it doesn't take much to be,
Yeah,
a top
true.
tight end. But as far and Tua, I mean, if he's your QB2, I mean, yeah, it's starting. But as far as that goes, I'm not excited about it. And then as far as Atlanta, Ridley and Pitts, I'd be excited. Patterson, I'm really excited because I need all he gets. But I'm not Mike Davis. Like I said, at this point in the season, you got to start all these guys. I mean, I don't think anybody has a choice but to start all.
I mean, looking at it, Miami's run defense should be better, and it stinks. Mike Davis might have a better game than we think he's gonna have. James Robinson clobbered him. Everybody's run over the Dolphins. Patterson will get his. You got Pitts, who will be good. Ridley,
Yeah,
my
Ridley. Who
bandwagon might be
knows?
broken. It depends if Howard's healthy. Howard's probably going to shadow him, and it's going to take down some of the hits. So it could be a total Kyle Pitts day.
What about Russell Gage?
Russell
He's
Gage is
coming
probably
back.
hurt.
No,
I
he's
don't
coming
know.
back. He's coming. He's coming back. He is playing Sunday.
I
He
mean,
is.
and that would come down to is Jones healthy? So I mean, we have decent corners in Miami. On the Miami side, with all those quarterbacks down, Ryan and Tua could be two guys. You're like, do I play them because the other team is so bad? They could be borderline that desperation number 12 quarterback in like a 12 team league. They could be a borderline QB1 because they're going to score points. Wait and see. We'll revisit this on Tuesday. That might be something to revisit on Tuesday. On the Miami side, Waddle for me, I would play because of the target share. When Tua plays, Waddle gets targets. There's no doubting that. I'm not even counting the 2 touchdowns. Waddle got all those targets the first game, and then Tua got hurt, and he got nothing. He got minimal stuff throughout the time. Tua came back, and then boom, 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 boom. He has a laser on Waddle.
What's
Waddle
that
gets
say?
there.
What's that say about Tua? I mean,
He
Tua
noticed that
just
he
so
should throw to
short.
the good
Like he's
player.
all he's got is a 10-yard game, right? Because that's as far as Waddle runs down the field.
Yeah. Hey, that 10 yards led to 2 touchdowns. So I don't know. But I mean, statistically for fantasy and a PPR, I'll take Waddle's 10 catches and 70
Oh
yards any
yeah,
day.
I
So
mean,
that's more I'm thinking there as they got it. So that's why I would play them. Gaskin, I wouldn't want to play, and it's either gonna be Gaskin or Alex Collins for me. So let's see how it goes. Before we get into some of our starts of the week, there are 2 perfect teams: the Cardinals and the Lions. Both
perfect in different ways.
are both have 6 something. The Cardinals have 6 wins. The Lions have 6 losses. The question is, who will lose perfection first? And what can they do to keep up that perfection, or what will cause that perfection to fade?
I mean, I think the Cardinals probably lose before the Lions win. I don't really have a reasoning behind it. I just think staying undefeated in the NFL is a really, really hard thing to do. Having good game after good game after good game. So I would say the Cardinals lose before the Lions win. Lions might not even win. There's feel like the bottom's just coming down. I feel like the Lions aren't even they don't even like have the heart to like really compete. Like those first couple weeks, I mean, they were trying really hard and they just kept failing. And I feel like, and they was like, yeah, we give up. Now Dan Campbell's coming out, throwing Jared Goff under the bus. All kind, good luck, Lions. Enjoy.
Hey, I can guarantee you one thing. We could have this conversation next week. They will be both perfect in both of their realms, being as the Lions play the Rams and the Cardinals play the Texans. So it will continue
Yeah, so
perfection
let it
until the end
continue.
as they go on. Okay, as we go on, I got a couple quick hits. We'll give our starts of the, and then we'll give our starts of the week. So JJ Wang, are you ready for a couple quick hits?
Yep.
Okay, so let's go and let's look in the game of the week for you, the Sam Darnold special. Giants versus the Panthers. Which quarterback will have more interceptions?
Oh, he's going somewhere different there.
Sam Darnold
That's actually
or Danny
that's,
Dimes is back, right?
I believe, yeah. That's
Yeah,
actually
Sam Darnold. More. Let's do turnovers.
that's a tough question. You know what? I hate to do it, but no, I'm gonna go Daniel Jones. I
Ooh,
can't throw I can't throw Darn on the bus like that.
we skipped one of our segments, and I'm gonna throw it in here.
Okay,
Titans versus the Chiefs. Give me a stat line for Derrick Henry.
so we're gonna go 27 carries, 156 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Looking ahead, will he rush for 2,000 yards?
Absolutely,
Absolutely. Will he run for 2,100 yards?
I think so. I think that's probably about
17
the cutoff.
games, so 2,200 yards.
Yeah, so about 20. That's about the cutoff.
Will his legs fall off in January?
That's very possible. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think nothing is going to fall off that guy. He's built pretty well.
So, along with Derrick Henry, will the Chiefs fall below 500 or will they beat the Titans?
They beat the Titans.
Should be it's two different styles of games. Quite interesting. Going down to the Bengals versus the Ravens. Who will pass for more yards? The all of a sudden able to pass Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow, who's but playing a decent defense?
I'm going to go Lamar. I'm going to go Lamar Jackson. I think that Baltimore defense is better than I've given them credit for. So I think they held Justin Herbert to a god awful game, and I'm going to stick with it. I say Lamar Jackson.
Speaking of perfection, Rams versus Lions, Cardinals versus Texans. Who has more all purpose yards? Kyler Murray or Matt Stafford?
I think it's just going to be coming down to the pass yards because Kyler hasn't been running as much lately. I'm gonna go Matt Stafford.
Okay.
Revenge game.
Raiders and Eagles. So the Raiders shocked us. We got that one wrong by a
Yeah.
mile. By a mile. Jalen Hurts. Will he run for more yards than Josh Jacobs?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm gonna say no.
And let's go to we'll just end here on Monday night. Saints versus the Seahawks. Will Jameis Winston throw for over 175 yards?
No.
Oh, good kicker there. There's just some stinkers this week. Some of those were tough. I laid up good questions. I got through it, but a couple starts of the week for both of us, and then we will wrap you up and send you off for a wonderful weekend of football. Um, I've been talking for a while. Give me your starts or tips of the week, bud.
All right, so I'm gonna just go ahead and I'll give both of mine, and then we can get both of yours, and then
Sounds
we'll
good.
close it out. So my first one is actually looking at it, it's both tight ends. So I'm gonna go tight end heavy on this one. The first one, OJ Howard gets a chance to shine again after the bigger game he had last week. 13, had 13, 14 fantasy points. Um, so we got AB out again AB out this week, and then Gronk's out again. So that opens up plenty of targets. You know that New England's going to not New England. Tampa Bay's Tampa Bay is going to continue to throw no matter who's in there, right? They don't really
Yep.
care the receiver; they're going to throw it. So I think that might open up more targets for OJ Howard, and he might get in the end zone again. He might get, those 7 targets, 5 catches, 60 yards. I mean, that's the top 12 tight end right there. Um, so I'm might give a shot to him if he's still in your waiver wire, and then I'm going over to the other side with one of the guys that has, been projected to be big this year, and I think people might be a little disappointed in what's happened so far, and that's Darren Waller. After that first big game with
Mm.
those 19 targets, I don't think he's had any more than what 7, 8 targets in a game, and he hasn't met his projections in any game since that first one. And I think he's had single digit points in all the games, but 2 of them. And from what you were expecting for Darren Waller, I mean that's just unacceptable. Correct?
Oh man, it is killing me. He's my tight end premium star, him and George Kittle, and they are dying.
Both
It,
both of them killing you.
thank goodness Gasicki and Andrews are going bonkers. That's how stout. I love that team. You know me, the tight end lover. When you have Kittle, Waller, Gasicki, and Andrews rocking your tight end and flex spots, oh, it's a beautiful thing.
I mean, it's not really beautiful right now because
No, no, it's not.
Kittle and Waller is not very beautiful
But I'm still winning, and that's all that matters.
because of Derrick Henry.
Oh yeah, yeah, you get 50 points a week. So I'm going running backs here. I'm saying if you're in this desperation week, sneak a Ravens running back. They did promote Lev Bell to the active roster. I don't know how eager I'd be to do it, but he looks weird wearing that receiver number, catching that. Like that was the oddest thing I saw. I was like, wait, what? Lev Bell, Devonta Freeman did get 9 carries. I mean, those two guys are who they're going to give the ball to, and I think they'll probably split it evenly because both are as washed up. Lamar's going to go bonkers. But if you need a running back, sneak a Ravens running back in there. And I hate to say it, and I might do it. I don't know if I will or not, but Khalil Herbert, I was so excited to start him now that with Montgomery out, and he looked really good with that 5 yard average. And you're like, oh, pick him up and play him. But then, of course, who does he draw this week but the stinking Buccaneers? So you play him with the hopes of some receptions is all I can really say. You play him because you got to, but he's a starting running back. So I would pick him up and play him. He might still be sneaking around because everybody's just got that taste of a rookie Bears running back versus the Bucks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm playing him. They're not. What we're hoping for here is, the Bears' offense being able to pass the ball, right? Because
Yeah.
I don't think Tampa Bay has any secondary at this point. They're all injured. So maybe they can get that, get down inside the 5 yard line, and maybe Herbert can fall into the end zone. But
Hope so.
good luck running against those guys, man.
It's historic. So
Have 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 fun with that.
JJ Wang, take me to trunk or treat and take us into week 7.
Yeah, have fun. Halloween's coming up. Looking pretty excited to that. Might even give out some candy. But this week in particular, with everything that's going down, trust yourself and trust the process.